This might be one of the most important videos I make because I want to challenge you about how you think about music creation in this new era where we have AI, MIDI chord packs, and virtually every possible thing available under the sun that, quite frankly, in my opinion, feels like stealing the joy from the creation of music. And I get it. Many of you are going to say, change of the times, this, that, the other thing, and make all these different arguments as to why this is not a bad thing. But I don't care. I did not get into music to have it made for me. And if that is you, frankly, this isn't a channel for you. But I have a suspicion that many of you feel the same way that I feel, which is that I got into music because it brings me excitement, it brings me joy, it brings me passion. It's a creative outlet where I can be the creator. The key word there, I be the creator. Not drag and drop music, not AI generated music with the prompt, not loop based music, not dropping in a sample and then putting a kick and snare on it and then calling it my own. And you might call me old school, some of you might really hate the fact that I said all of that, but I believe that music is about a personal exploration of who we are, and that is now being delegated to tools. And it's not like this just started yesterday, this has been happening for quite some time now, but it's accelerating. And companies are now picking up on it, and they are now making tools to sell you, by the way, taking advantage of the fact that there's hype around this so they can take your money, by the way. Now, when we make music in a moment, it's a snapshot of history, of our mental state, of our emotional state, of our creative state. And when I listen to music that I made in years past, I can remember how I felt making it. I can remember what I was going through. Songs are often a reflection of personal experience in a moment. Like, I made a bunch of songs in high school, for example, that were about loneliness because, big shocker, I felt lonely in high school. I didn't have a lot of friends. But what happens when half of what your song is was created not by you or by a human collaborator, but by a computer or AI? Well, in my view, you can disagree, I don't feel like that is good for music. I don't think it's a good thing for music, and it's not a good thing for the listener that music is now at a place where it's not even about the creative story. It's not about the creative vision anymore. It's really just a happy meal. Like, think about that. A happy meal. McDonald's cheeseburger. Cheap, unthought, greasy, and for those who want the quick satisfaction but long-lasting disappointment. I won't use these tools in my music creation because that steals something from me. That steals a certain level of creative vision. And I don't want to make happy meal music. I want to serve my listeners with a fine dining experience, a 5-course meal that I labored over, that I poured myself into with everything that I have. And I know that many people may comment things like, you use sound libraries, so it's not really you making the music, because I've heard this one before. And if you think that sound libraries are comparable to AI-generated music or pre-made loops, it shows that you don't have a nuanced view of what music is. Saying using sound libraries is somehow not me making music would be like saying Beethoven didn't actually make his own music because he needed an orchestra to perform it. He still had to rely on other musicians to actually create the sound in which you hear. I have to rely on sound libraries to create the sound that you actually hear. Beethoven wasn't typing in a prompt in a computer to spit out the score for him, and neither do I. And that's pretty much where we're headed with music. And I also believe that if you're making music simply to blow up or make the millions or whatever, you're shallow. And this is happening. It is crazy that this is happening. There are people who are making music utilizing AI who don't know a single thing about music because they know they can blow up as long as they know their marketing and their branding and they can grow an audience. That's shallow. I believe that music is beyond any of that. I would make music today whether I made a cent from it or not. I would make music the way I create today if I had this channel today or not. I would make music whether I had another full-time job outside of music or not. And how do I know this? Because I spent the vast majority of my life doing just that without a camera pointed at me behind closed doors since I was about 10 years old. Why? Because music is my passion, it's my love, and it is about my personal mark that I imprint onto it. Music is about an exploration not just of melodies and chords and rhythms, but my own personal experiences utilizing those things, intertwined with them to create something new that embodies my state of mind. But we're now going to rip that all away and allow a piece of technology or a plugin to rob us of that experience now. I'm not saying that you cannot use the tools out there. There are tools that utilize portions of AI. I think of Baby Audio having their tape plugin, for example. Okay, great, like they're utilizing AI to replicate a tape machine. That's not the same thing as using pre-recorded or pre-generated ideas that are the actual core fundamental of what that song is. Like, I'm not saying that at all. And obviously I'm not gonna spend an hour talking about all the different things that are, this is okay, this is not okay. You have to make that up for your mind. I'm trying to give you more of a philosophical perspective that I have. But you need to determine what you make music for and why you make it in the first place. Because if you haven't even thought that through, like why are you even doing this in the first place? Why do you create music in the first place? You're not gonna know how to tackle this issue. And I believe that this is a slippery slope when you go down this path. When you start to go down this path, you are taking the easy and frankly, the lazy way. When you don't think you need to know a single thing about music, but now you can just make some hits, I think that's insane. I think that is wild, that people are thinking, how can I be a pro without having to learn music? Like, hello, that sounds like an oxymoron. How is it that people want so quickly to push the easy button and never have to work for it? Like, does that bring you lasting joy with your music? Do you listen to the songs that you hardly had to work for? That you just clicked a couple, click, 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 and boom, now you got a song? You feel proud? Because frankly, I would not. I feel most proud when I know how hard I worked for it. And some of you may be thinking that this is me being a gatekeeper, but far from it. I want to see more people delve into music. I actually want you to learn music. Not just click a few buttons. That's why I have like 300 videos on this channel. I've dedicated a big part of my adult life to making content to help you for free. The information is right in front of your eyes. You don't even have to buy my course or anyone else's course to learn this stuff. There's not really anything you cannot learn nowadays. So this whole gatekeeper mentality is nothing more than an excuse for you to not have to work and you can then claim yourself as a victim. You are not a victim. You can learn the same things I've learned. The same things anyone else has learned. But the difference between those people and the ones who actually do it are the ones who actually do it, they're willing to work and spend potentially years and decades honing their craft. You think I got here overnight? You think I'm just making the music I make now and I just started? I've been doing this since I was 6 years old when I started learning piano. I started learning songwriting from a songwriter when I was 10 years old. I have spent decades on this. And I get it. Like this whole AI revolution, it's sure making for some clickbait content, but I'm extremely concerned for the future of music makers. I'm extremely concerned that we are gonna wind up with an entire generation of young musicians that have legitimately forgotten how music is made. And I've seen more and more companies popping up offering AI plugins, AI this, AI that, use AI to write hit songs. And frankly, they're taking your money. They're taking your money simply to rob you of the creative output and expression. How ridiculous is that? I'm not anti-AI for everything. I'm trying to paint a philosophy of why are you making music. I think using something like Lander mastering to master your music, that's quite a bit different than using something where you're literally saying, make me a beat that feels like XYZ thing, and then it literally does the thing for you and you drag drop it and then maybe you like add a hi-hat or something. Because if you don't think people are doing this, you're literally missing it. People are doing this. And if you feel this way, the way I feel, then you need to truly guard yourself and decide what you will and will not use. Just actually evaluate it. Go in with open eyes. What does this tool even do in the first place? Is this a tool that is helping me do something that I'm already creatively doing, or is this stealing from me? I believe that people are craving authenticity more than ever. Like, we want a real connection. We want real. And I don't know about you, but half the time, I don't know if I'm being lied to or not when I turn on the dang TV. And this isn't a political statement. This is real. It doesn't matter where you stand on anything. I think we can all agree that half of the time when we turn the TV on or pull out our phones to look at social media, there's this deep feeling, am I being lied to? And these things are not authentic. And I know that's not just me. I know many of you feel that way too. So you tell me, if we want authenticity, if that's what you want, is it authentic to delegate your creative process and creative output to something inhuman? Is it authentic to claim a creative endeavor in which you simply put in a prompt, it spits something out for you to drag and drop, and maybe you added a few extra things? Is it authentic to put yourself out to the world as an artist when the entirety of what you put in front of people is definitionally not authentic? I mean, think about how absurd it would be if someone is a painter, but then half of what they painted was AI generated, and they just maybe filled in some colors. I will be the one behind my own music, and I hope you'll be the one behind yours as well.